Today we're ranking every MLB team on a tier list based on their floor. What's the worst case scenario realistically? We already talked about the best case scenario. Some teams have a very grim ceiling, but now we're talking about floor, and this is going to be one that I promise you guys are going to be upset about because I got a feeling there's going to be a few of you who just skip to the end, think this is a ranking, and when you see a team in a lower tier than you expect, I can't wait to see in the comment section. We had Cardinals fans chirping us that we just hate the Cardinals. That team is horrible, and we're going to put them in the exact same tier that their ceiling was. But before we do get going into it, make sure you are subscribed to the Windup for more baseball content. James, I know this is one of the teams that you've been itching to talk about weirdly. The Arizona Diamondbacks. Tell me about their floor.
I think I'm like the only person in the world itching to talk about the Arizona Diamondbacks, but this team might suck.
Yeah.
I think that there are a lot of really exciting players in the Diamondbacks. I mean, they're trio at the top of Perdomo, Marte, Corbin Carroll. Debatably, those could be 3 of the 10 best players in the National League by wins above replacement by the end of it. It would have been, I think it was last year, if Ketel Marte snuck in by the end. But this is also coming directly on the heels of the Corbin Carroll handmade injury. That's going to take him out probably for opening day, or might sneak into opening day, but then it's going to take his power for months. We know Ketel Marte will miss minimum 20 games, guaranteed. And the rest of this team, besides those 3, is literally awful.
Yeah, it's bad.
So when you start to knock out chunks of those 3, like that, their only floor comes from those 3 guys. Once those guys are less reliable, it's like, how bad can this team actually be?
Yeah, because you look at the starting pitching, and I mean, again, in the worst case scenario, it's arguably the worst rotation in baseball. In one of the best case scenarios, it's one of the worst rotations in baseball. So, like, we're talking floor here. It's devastating. I love Ryan Nelson, but there is a world where he might just be a better reliever than starter. And right now, he is arguably the best pitcher in that rotation at the time of recording, which is kind of crazy. Also, at the same time, that bullpen is putrid. I don't think there's a world where that bullpen's even remotely league average based on what we've seen. And as you said, if there is even just a slight downtick from either of those top 3, and it looks like Corbin Carroll, at least power-wise, might be affected because of that handmade injury, this team goes in ass. Like, they have a chance to be not Colorado Rockies bad, but one of the 5, 6, 7 worst teams in baseball.
Yeah, and we're how big the ass tier is going to get for this video, because a lot of these teams' floor is ass. Again, a lot of Diamondbacks fans, we had the ceiling talk last video. They talked about the fact that a lot of these guys could come back from injury midseason. Corbin Burns is targeting the All-Star break. Justin Martinez and A.J. Puck are targeting, I think, returns Puck earlier. Of course, he got surgery earlier. Martinez is not sure about, but relying on guys to return from injuries is not an exact science, not something that is something really organizations that intend to win should be relying on. Nor should be relying on Pavin Smith and Nolan Arenado and Carlos Santana. Jordan Lawler is going to play the outfield, apparently. Like, it's this team might suck bad. Maybe they do get Zach Allen back. I don't know if they get back for the 1-year deal, but this team could be like 70-win territory.
Yeah, which is kind of where we're going with the ass tier, because it's a wide range. It's a wide range, and we're going to cover all of it for sure. And I think we've got to put my A's in there too, because while I think me and you are both pretty high on them in terms of like an exciting team to watch, just again because of how bad that pitching can and probably will be, there's a world where Jacob Wilson takes a step back again just because he's so contact-oriented. Maybe Mr. Kurtz, again, I don't see it happening, but there were some things that are hard to replicate at the level that he did. We think he will, but there's a world where he's not one of the best hitters in baseball. What does this do for that roster? We kind of saw like the worst version of Lawrence Butler last year. It could happen again. I think they also could be a team that's just bad, a bottom dweller in the American League West.
Especially an American League West division that is still reasonably good. Like, the Mariners are a great baseball team. The Astros are a good baseball team. The Rangers are probably a good baseball team. Who am I forgetting? The American League West. Why am I blanking on the last American League West?
Should we have gotten rid of the World Series as a floor and put like 70 wins above ass?
I mean, maybe we could do that, because there's
no floor for a World Series team.
It might be one, but
also like I don't even know if we can actually put them there.
I guess theoretically, what you're saying is that no team's floor should be a World Series.
Yes.
Okay, so that's fair. Yeah, I like that. But everything we also
after this, we will adjust.
Yes, everything else you just said about the Diamondbacks pitching. The Athletics could be significantly worse.
Yes.
Like, the Diamondbacks have a much sturdier floor of their pitching than what the Diamondbacks, than what the Athletics even have. Like, Severino, Springs, Jacob Lopez, like, that's their big 3
that's
to be
scary.
relied upon. All of those guys could break before this video even comes out. They just signed Aaron Savali as, not depth, SP3, SP4.
Dude's made of mashed potatoes.
Like, there's a lot of projection relying on Gage Jump, who's a first-year professional baseball player last year after playing 1 year at LSU, after blowing out his arm his freshman year at UCLA, who still had like a 3.6 ERA in AA. People are like, yeah, he can. And again, I love Gage Jump, but their 50th percentile outcome is probably one of the 5 worst pitching staffs in baseball. Their floor is the worst pitching in the Rockies.
Yeah, which is really scary for a team that we do have high hopes for, and I think they do as well. It's just the range of outcomes is so crazy. Let's talk about the Braves now. This is the team that I called their floor last year, and I'm going to hold that forever. I was like, this team might stink, and boy, did they stink last year. And we're starting to see part of what makes this team's floor terrifying. Spencer Schwellenbach, 60-day IL, elbow inflammation. There's a chance he doesn't pitch this year, and we know the depth is not particularly strong on this roster anywhere. They have one of the highest ceiling to floor gaps in all of baseball.
Oh, totally. Their ceiling, like we said in that last video, is a team that can truthfully compete with the Dodgers in a 7-game series. And their floor, I'm about to argue, similar to last year, is a 70-win ball club.
Wow. Okay, I was thinking more the 500 range, but I'm here for the Braves fan slander, so let's hear it.
Dude, well, let's see. The right line, let's think about their rotation, probably without Spencer Schwellenbach for at least half of the year, if not all of it. Chris Sale, one of the best pitchers in baseball, hands down. Floor, there's a guy that, again, dealt with a freak injury.
Old.
What? Yeah. I thought you were telling me something off, like whatever. But yeah, old. Last year he broke a bone just by diving. By falling on the ground, he broke a bone. Like, I don't know what's going to happen with this guy. I still love Chris Sale, but like I could definitely see a world where he doesn't get to 120 innings. Spencer Strider last year, his ERA was 5. He was terrible. And he's also still coming off. Then even after those guys, like Spencer Strider is the second most reliable. Reynaldo Lopez was great 2 years ago, coming back in the rotation for them. I don't know what's going to happen with his arm health. Then we have Grant Holmes also coming off significant arm injury. And then right now their 5 is Bryce Elder. Like there's a lot.
Or Waldrop, right?
I think probably Waldrop gets it. But I think they probably just give the first shot to Elder because that's kind of what they always do. But we love Waldrop. I think there's some intrigue with J.R. Ritchie. There's some intrigue with Owen Murphy coming back from injury in their system, who's awesome, but still only got to Double-A. The depth could be fun if you had Schwellenbach to rely on as your 2.
Yeah, and I think I'm actually buying in on the 70 wins now because the floor is what they did last year. And they didn't change their team almost at all. They're just another year older. They added an older outfielder, an older relief pitcher. On paper, I think it made their team a little bit better.
Full year of Acuna.
Yeah, full year of Acuna. But at the same time, that floor is terrifying. And I do think that there's a world where the Braves are 78 and 84.
Definitely. But again, the ceiling is one of the best teams in baseball. There's a floor video. I think their floor stinks.
Which, here it comes. The comments are already going absolutely crazy with that. But we just saw it. We know what the floor is. It happened, and it can happen again. Do I think that's likely? No. But this is a floor video. Another team with a huge floor, Baltimore Orioles. We saw it again. And while I do think that they got better, I don't know if it's in the way that actually made them two better when you talk about floor, being that their pitching is still really, really sketchy. As much as we love Kyle Bradish and we always forget about Trevor Rogers, Pete Alonso was a great addition. Taylor Ward was a good addition. Maybe that does help bump up their floor more, but it's got to be, I could buy in between the 70 and 500 range. Which one are you feeling?
I was going to lean more towards 500 because
Okay.
I think they made more meaningful additions this offseason, even in recent weeks, to help their floor. We got similar. It's Handmade Day. We got Handmade news about Jackson Holliday's Handmade breaking as well. And apparently this injury happened a week ago in live BP. And in between that, the Orioles made a trade for Blaze Alexander. And everyone's like, why are they trading for Blaze Alexander? Now we know why, because the Orioles don't have a lot of middle infield depth. They have 6 first basemen, but not a lot of middle infield depth with that Pete Alonso move. But I do think also we got news that Jordan Westberg's also dealing with no bleak again already. Without him, you're looking at Jeremiah, Kobe Mayo goes back to third, Jeremiah Jackson again. It's an interesting team, has a lot of outfielders, a lot of first basemen, not a lot of infielders right now. But just having Bradish for the whole year and Boz push Cade Povich to SP6 or SP5 when Zach Eflin inevitably something goes wrong, it helps their floor a lot more than where it was last year to me.
I could buy that. They do have a little more pitching depth. I still think it stinks, but also at the same time, Pete's a legit bat in that lineup. Taylor Ward's going to be a huge help too. Even if guys like Adley and Gunnar have down years, those guys will still hit pretty well. Like we've seen over the last few years with their floors, and it's relatively high. I could see an argument for the 70 win category, similar to the Braves, where it's that 78 wins type thing. But again, I don't care. It's the Braves. Put them in 70 wins and put the Orioles above them.
Right. And I think these two teams, it's kind of a razor thin margin for where they are between those tiers, but the Orioles just a tiny bit more depth to rely upon. Yeah. The Braves also, we might not just see the depth yet because they just will spit out 1 or 2 pitching prospects a year for no reason. So maybe that's just what the difference is.
Boston Red Sox. I feel like their floor is similar. Again, it's slightly maybe above the Orioles, like a wild card. I think it would be a catastrophic failure if they don't make the postseason. And while the AL East is loaded, it does feel difficult for the Red Sox still not to be like a wild card team.
I would argue the Red Sox have one of the more reliable floors in the whole show.
So much pitching.
Just they have 9 pitchers you can rely upon. They might even have 10. Like their lineup we don't love. And I guess that's where we should bring this floor conversation. I think you love him more than me, but just like the floor of if there's any level of a sophomore slump for Roman Anthony, which is highly possible. Like let's say he's just a 780 OPS guy.
Let's just say he's Italian and not Italian Juan Soto. He's just Italian.
Just Italian. Like then all of a sudden you're looking at this lineup, you're like, what? Like what if he's like a 780 OPS, Jarren Duran 750 OPS, Wilson Contreras is 750. Then it's like this might be an entire lineup of no guys who are significantly better than league average. And I think that's possible, but their floor is so propped up by the staff that it can't really even be that bad.
Yeah, like they're pitching so good, their bullpen's good enough, and even like because of the players that we've seen, I still think that their offensive floor is still probably like a middle of the pack offensive team in baseball, which is not really a problem considering how bad they're. If Roman Anthony has a 780 OPS, Duran has 750. Like if all those guys are hovering around 800, which thinks a lot of their floor, that's still a good lineup. You're just a hater of Marcelo Meyer. This is all this is.
Well, I guess me and Craig Bresler are both haters of Marcelo Meyer.
He's in the lineup. He's not going anywhere. They got rid of David Hamilton for him.
Oh, yeah, they got rid of David Hamilton. He couldn't beat them on his own. But Caleb Durbin is oddly a nice floor raiser because we think he probably is a league average bat, but like defensively, the guy's dope. He's a wizard. And I think he's going to have a very fun time trying to sneak doubles off the Green Monster. I'm excited for those highlights of him busting out of the box off that high hop because I think we're going to see a lot of him just beating fly balls into that monster. This is a team where the floor and the ceiling are tight, which is going to be a fun thing to track in these videos. The depth of range of outcomes versus the tight ones.
But not as tight as the Chicago Cubs. They are this ceiling and floor we always talk about. It's a tight sandwich. There's not a lot of meat in there. It's the Subway special. And I mean, we put them in the World Series. I think the floor is division, right? Like they probably can't be a wild card team.
Their floor is remarkably high. They have one of the highest floors in the whole league. Again, like they should at least be division. I would even hear the slight argument for playoff run. A lot of people have been chastising us in the comments about our hatred for the Cubs.
They said that we're weird about the Cubs. We're like, no, we're not. We're just telling you the truth, and you're not ready to hear it.
And we're just kind of bored by them. But again, this is a good video for boring teams. The Cubs easily in division. Yep. Easily.
So then maybe we put them in playoff run. Maybe that's it because we have talked about how they're so boring, and it's a good boring team video. The playoff run's maybe the spot. It does feel weird to actually put them in the same floor as like the Dodgers, who we just know is going to be in playoff run.
I guess, but I mean, maybe because those are two teams who we think probably have the easiest walks to their division championships in the league. Maybe the Tigers as well.
I guess, yeah, because even if the Cubs, like we expect the Cubs are going to make the playoffs easily. The division playoff run thing does get a little bit weird. That's kind of like they get knocked down the NLDS, which they kind of just did. So
again, similar ceiling floor last year, this year improvements. It all kind of feels the same. Big thing to watch with the Cubs this year is one of my guys, Jackson Wiggins. If he could be one of the guys, again, we're talking about floor, so it's not the right video to bring him up, but like Boyd, Cabrera, Horton, Imanaga, Tyone, great floor of rotation. 6 is still going to be a bit of, and it's still coming back. It's just like Ray and Assad, like these are floor guys.
Yes.
They will need a ceiling guy to probably get them to the next level, and it could be Wiggins.
Yeah, and I do think division's probably fair for them because like they could win the division still in a bad year.
Oh, they can win the division if they have like a 20th percentile outcome season.
Yeah. Chicago White Sox. This one's going to be really easy. I mean, yeah, it's just ass here. We know the White Sox are going to be more fun this year with guys like Murakami in their lineup and a lot of the young guys coming up, but their ceiling's ass, so I mean their floor is definitely again the worst team in baseball.
Yeah, I mean they brought Eric Fetty home, which will be great, but yeah. No, but they're just the floor of this team is that they basically can't even field a quarter of a rotation.
No, and might not be able to field a quarter of an infield.
Or
outfield.
The infield, at least they just got second baseman everywhere. They're pulling up the Mets strategy with that. And again, the floor of a guy that calls him Montgomery, while I think a ceiling could literally be like a bona fide all-star, is like he goes back to the minor leagues, and you're like, what just happened?
Charlotte, hang his jersey in the rafters in Charlotte.
Yeah, this Charlotte AAA, yeah.
Yeah, Charlotte Knights. Beautiful stadium, by the way, out in Charlotte.
Yeah, nice.
Cincinnati Reds. I don't think they're ass because, again, the pitching's so good. Is it weird to say that? I think they're 70 wins probably, right? Like that 78, 76 range. I can't put them in ass.
I was going to consider arguing for 500.
Okay.
They're, again, another team that feels flat to me and where their range of outcomes lie.
But again, that's where I will argue that the offensive floor for this team, like if Ellie just does what he did again, which was being relatively like a little bit better than league average, that's probably the lowest outcome for him. we could see TJ Friedel all of a sudden become like a very below average hitter. I think that's totally in the realm of possibility. Eugenio Suarez had a 290 on base percentage last year. Like, I think it's a little scarier than 500. And I do weirdly trust the Braves floor over the Reds, I think, still.
Okay. I weirdly trust the Reds floor. Only talking about floor.
I know, yeah.
Over the Braves floor. But maybe I'm just like, I'm trying to envision a world where Hunter Green doesn't get injured, where he's only ever gotten injured. So
yeah, that's kind of his floor.
Yeah, if he just doesn't pitch more than like 50 innings, then suddenly that rotation looks much worse.
And again, I know like it's so lame to be like, if this guy gets injured, if this, like,
True,
if the Queen had ball, she'd be king. But at the same time, like Nick Lodolo has injury history. That could happen again like that, just based off of what we've seen.
We could play the injury game with every one of these teams and say their
Yes.
floor is terrible, but we're kind of trying to focus the injury concerns on the guys who've been more oft injured.
Yes, and I do feel like the Reds have some oft injured guys, which is why I'm leaning
Okay.
70 wins.
I'm down for that, yeah.
Cool. All right, Cleveland Guardians. We're gonna drop them an ass, right?
I guess so, but like, what about the devil magic coefficient?
Actually-
we should work that into our model.
Wait, where was our ceiling ass and our? No, we put wild card, right, or division.
I think we might have. I don't remember if we put 500 or wild card.
Well, you know what? I'm going to change my opinion because I do think it's 70 wins because I think there's actually no chance they don't win 70 games again because of the division that they're in and the fact that their bullpen, I think at its worst, will still be awesome. It always is. There's arms that you've never heard of that will just come in and be good, and the lineup can't really get much worse. Like it would take a catastrophic fall off from Jose Ramirez, and I just don't even see that in the realm of possibility.
No, I really just don't think this team's allowed to be true ass. Like they just can't be. Like there's too they win on the margins too much. They game plan too well with their starting pitchers. They
It's
will
a smart
never.
org.
It's very smart org. I wish they would invest. They will never be ass, but they will also probably never be great.
Yeah, and I do think 70 wins is fair for them.
Yep.
Colorado Rockies, you know what's crazy? Ass, but boy, did they raise their floor, theoretically. I can't wait to see what Tomoyuki Sugano and Jose Quintana look like pitching in Coors this season. That is one of the most insane decisions ever from a pitching standpoint of let's get guys to get absolutely pieced up. I know Jose Quintana's been decent over the last few years, but we know that that's not going to really play in Coors for a guy who's like kind of junk ball-y. The ball doesn't spin the same. It just feels like they're going to get smoked. They're going to be so bad.
I mean, someone tweeted this. I think it was maybe RotoGut. He was like, imagine just wait for the day where it's 87 degrees in a day game of Coors and Tomoyuki Sugano's pitching against the Dodgers.
Like, there's a chance they put up 70 runs on him.
He should never throw a fastball this season.
No, sinkers,
maybe-
splitters.
It'd be fun if that's the plan. Like, also, I think Quintana will find a way to have a few classic Quintana games. Keeps that ball on the ground.
No, of course. I think he even did it for the Mets when they went to Coors at one point. Like,
Yeah.
I think he had a great start, but over the span of a year, there's no world where this team is not the worst team in baseball, right?
One of the worst three, maybe, because there are some pretty bad teams. But yeah,
Yeah, they're really bad. I guess the Nationals will give them a run for their money this year, but man, the Rockies stink. I'm sorry, Colorado. Also, Chris Bryant, 6-day IL. Still, I mean,
never gonna play.
what is happening? What is happening to that guy? He's got to have just like what's the opposite of Benjamin Button? He double aged.
It's the guy from SpongeBob who's like, every morning I break my knees, and every afternoon I break my arms.
Yes,
My skin is made of paper.
it's SpongeBob without the water when they're in Sandy's dome. He's water.
I'm almost like worried for Chris Bryant's like rest of his life health.
That's what I'm saying. I hope he's okay, but this team's ass. Detroit Tigers. One of the reasons we love the Framber move, raised the hell out of the floor for this team. And I'm going to be honest, I think their floor is wild card.
I was even going to get close to arguing with their floor being division because this team is just solid as hell. Like, especially even talk about another floor raising move. It's not sexy, it's not funny, but even just bringing in Verlander for his 100 innings. Like,
True,
that's,
yeah.
Like, just the fact that Reese Olson's out for the year. I don't know what's going to happen for Reese
He's
Olson.
out for the
going
year?
forward. Yeah, out for the year, shoulder.
Oh, damn,
Bad.
okay.
I think bad things going on with him. They'll probably still hold Jackson Jobe out for the year, but the fact that they don't even have to think about, like, they don't got to think about Troy Melton. They don't have to think about Sawyer Gibson Long. Like, those guys can just wait, be ready. Like, the depth of this rotation, what they've done in a week is amazing. And
Yeah.
like we make fun of this lineup a lot, but there are a lot of high floor guys in this lineup. Like
For
Gleyber
sure.
Torres, high floor guy. I think Riley Green's a high floor guy. Even like Dingler and Meadows, like being the worst hitters in that lineup. Their defensive floors are some
Yes.
of the best players in the league. That's a high floor team you have in Detroit.
Yeah, I just don't know if I can do division because they lost the division last year and it was a pretty damn
That's
good
true.
year for them. So I'm going to fight for wild card, but I'm with you. Like, it would be, I think, shocking in the Central if they don't win the division. I think a lot of things would have to go crazy wrong. But like with Skubal and Framber and the depth that you mentioned, even the guys behind them with Melton and Gibson Long and Cater Montero, like the worst case scenario for them is still being a fringe playoff team.
And even a floor of this bullpen with Jansen, Vest, Finnegan, Holton, Herther. It's like it's just dudes left and right. Like
Yeah, it's a good squad.
You could lose 2 of those guys in the bullpen, you still will have like a league average bullpen.
I love this video so much. This is
It's
electric
fun.
to see this tier list. People are going to lose their mind. All right, let's talk about the Astros. I think they're probably also a wild card, right? Like
I was gonna
500?
I was gonna see if I could sneak you into 500.
I mean, give me the talk on pitching because their pitching depth is definitely dog shit. And
basically the talk about this is that I think Hunter Brown, Mike Burrows, and Tatsuya Imai are going to be a relatively stable, reliable top 3.
okay,
After that top 3, you're not really working with much of anything reliable. Like I think they even dumped JP France. I
think
like
they did, yeah.
I like AJ Blueball as much as the next guy. I know Ryan.
How much
Weiss
is
was-
that?
I mean, a good bit. Ryan Weiss was a good pull. Spencer Arrighetti has definitely major league stuff. Last year, Jason Alexander, George Costanza faked it for a few months over there. Kai Tang is relatively interesting. They got from the Giants as depth. Like
Is he?
they did a lot in the last. I mean, as an SP8 for sure. Like they did a lot in the last month to really help their floor. But everything I'm talking about right now is still like. You're still going to be having lots of 6 and 7s, you being the 4 and 5 in their rotation, just because of the inconsistency and uncertainty around McCullers and Christian Javier. But I guess in any given month, you'll get one of those guys hopefully being kind of healthy, and that's something. I think that this lineup has a lower floor than it gets credit for.
You think
that's-
so?
I think that's where I'm going to try and angle this for a second.
I mean, how many games did they win last year? That's what I just want to see. They win
84?
87 and 75. Like, you think there's a world where their 6 wins a lot worse? Yeah, I can see that.
Framber Valdez was a huge
no,
part of
I
that.
see it actually. I'm buying into the 500. And to talk about your floor, like for the hitting, the scariest part of this entire team with the floor is that Yordan Alvarez at any moment could just be like not going to play for 3 months.
Like if something just breaks or goes wrong with him again, this lineup becomes incredibly pedestrian. And if this lineup is pedestrian without him, it's like I really like what Jeremy Pena did last year. Like I could see another like 20-20-30 season, homers, steals, and doubles. But like it probably won't come with a 300 average. Like last year, Jeremy Pena, I put some stats in a piece I just did for Roto World. He eviscerated fastballs.
And
To
that
the
makes
degree-
sense.
To the degree where I couldn't even believe it relative to his like career splits. Like last year against fastballs, 370 batting average, 706 slug. Like that was,
Jesus.
and even the expected stats supported that he was that good of a fastball matcher. 320 expected batting, 650 expected slug. But just it seemed like 10% more patience from Pena allowed him to hunt that fastball a little bit more. But just the ebb and flow of the world, I can't imagine he's that dominant against fastballs game. If it's not that dominant, he probably goes from a 7-win player to like a 4.5, 5-win player. But just that's a lot driven by defense as well. Like the bottom could fall out from this lineup fast without Alvarez. That's kind of what happened last year.
And also looking at the outfield, like it's not the greatest by any means. Like even at ceiling wise, it's not very good. Altuve's getting older. The fact that Christian Walker really stunk last year, he might just think again. Yiner looked horrible last
Really
season.
bad.
You could also make the argument from the other side that all those things did go wrong last year and they won 87 games. But I
True.
do think that this is a worse team than they were last year. So I could buy that their floor is being 4 or 5 wins worse than they were the previous season.
I guess a lot of this floor conversation comes like how you perceive Tatsuya Imai, and neither
Yes.
of us are the most in on him. I get honestly though, I think he'll be better right away than he'll be maybe after that, unless he adjusts. But
It's kind of the Imanaga thing. Like Shota came onto the scene with the Cubs and was so awesome to start. And then it's just you adjust, hitters adjust, and the pitchers have to adjust. There's a lot there. Kind of the reason why Imai got that contract as well.
there's also probably a move coming. Like I have to imagine there is. Like the fact that right now, if Jordan can't step to the outfield and Christian Walker's at first and Carlos Correa's at third, like what do you do with Isaac Paredes?
Yeah, also Carlos Correa could play 40 games this year too.
Oh, 100. But Carlos Correa could also play. He could play 160 games
And
and have
be-
a 920 OPS.
Yeah,
Like,
be an
Carlos
MVP
Correa,
player.
he's still a high end bat, and also like what happens with Cam Smith? Does he get run in the minors? Like, because he didn't really hit well last year, but I still really believe in his future. It's a very strange collection of pieces right now in this Astros team, and I could see them not fitting together very well.
Yeah, I think 500 is a fair place to put them. I do feel more confident in the teams above them for sure. Your Kansas City Royals, James, I feel like
Low floor.
low floor, but not ass. I think they're clearly a 70-win floor. It's just like Cole Reagans has dealt with some injuries, and I do feel like
Some.
Yeah, while he's some was a nice way to put it. He's dealt with a lot of injuries. While we love how many starting pitchers they have, like they have like almost a full AAA staff of guys that could be in the majors as like 4 or 5s. If Cole Reagans is not healthy for a full season, they're not a playoff team. And that alone puts them at the 500 tier. And if anything else goes wrong, it's 70 wins.
Definitely. And I'm also there's things about this team's ceiling that we really liked a lot, but I'm gonna say the reverse to them for the floor because that's what we're doing here. Like the relievers they've pulled in the last 2 years, Strahm, Schreiber, Mears, as guys who are like meat and potatoes, Major League Baseball middle relievers. Love that. Those were all moves that you could probably objectively say that they made with organizations that are probably a little bit more in the cutting edge than the Kansas City Royals are. And you always worry about like the buyer beware with moves like that when you're making those trades. Like Strahm was still great last year, like above board, but like some of his underlying stats got a lot worse. Schreiber, Mears, similar over the last 2 years. Same thing with Isaac Collins last year in the second half. Like Isaac Collins might be a 680 OPS guy. Like
there's a chance, yeah.
That's definitely possible. And like Jack Caglione might just struggle again. Like the fences moving in might just not help their hitters and only hurt their pitchers.
I was going to bring that up if you didn't. I was like, the fences coming in could have like such a weird impact. And we even like saw it with the Mets when they were moving in Citi Field stuff. The Mets hitters did not adjust. Everybody else just kind of took advantage of it.
Well, it's also kind of like the guys who have the big power in this team being like Witt, Jack, Perez, Carter Jensen. Like they're probably just getting them out anyway.
Yes.
And it's like the fringy guys like Pasquantino, Michael Garcia, like, I mean, not Jonathan India. He's not even worth talking about him. But like those are the guys you hope this helps. But then they do have a bit of a nice like fly ball staff.
Yes.
So you do wonder if that could hurt those guys. And like, again, like Noah Cameron, like we love the command, deep arsenal, but like he could fall out pretty easily.
Yes.
Like Seth Lugo was pretty ass for a chunk of last year. Could just be over. Chris Bubich might be roast beef.
Yeah, that
Cole
elbow could be
Reagans
cooked.
could really well be roast beef. And it's just Michael Wacha and the fellas out there in July.
And Michael Wacha's been pitching out of his mind. And like you look at it and you're like, probably shouldn't be that good.
Yeah, this team, the floor is low. The ceiling is fun. There's a good wide range of outcomes team.
Good Midwestern team to watch if you've got nothing to do during a Tuesday night.
Our Angels.
Yeah, ass. I mean, like, come on. There's no world where their floor is not ass. And just looking at that roster, even when things go right, I think at best they probably win 70-ish games. Like.
Good tweet from Robert Orr on Twitter. It writes for Baseball Prospectus that this Angels rotation, like realistically, you could see a good chunk of these guys getting Cy Young votes if things go perfectly. You could also see almost all of them being out of baseball within 2 years.
Yeah, they have a range of outcomes that is not particularly high as a team, but it could get dangerously low. That being said, like Zach Neto's really good. He's going to have a good season. I don't see Zach Neto taking like any sort of huge fall that affects their bottom line. It's just like Joe Adell, I think, could. I think there's still a world where Joe Adell, I mean, he was still kind of a league average hitter. He just put up a lot of home runs last year. So, like, I think there's a world where this team is scary bad. And again, the X factor being like Mike Trout. Like, if Mike Trout's hurt again, like, there's no way that they get to 70 wins if Mike Trout doesn't play.
We can't really keep talking about Mike
Yes,
Trout
we can. You're just a Trout hater.
It's because like if Trout even has even a close to a relatively throwback Trout season, the best this team could ever be is like 70 wins.
That's what I said. I was like,
so it's hard to identify an X factor in that sense. Like, oh, he's an X factor. Could get this team near 500.
He's an ass factor.
Yeah, he is. He's an ass factor. Good one. We're gonna use that one moving forward.
Dodgers just throw him up in playoff run because
playoff run.
Like obviously it's the playoffs. Anything can happen. Oh, stupid conversation. But like at the absolute worst, they lose in the NLCS realistically.
I think their most likely spot to lose is the DS. You want to get them in 5.
That is true. We do say that
them
all
in
the
7.
time.
I would love the one time to get them is in a 5-game series probably because the more games, the better chance they have. But like the way they've built out the floor in this team is just disgusting. Like
it's only going to get better too with all the prospects that are going to be coming up in the next year or two to fill out even more.
Like the fact that Roki could wind up being like a pretty. I mean, I guess I won't say the B word yet, but like we're probably 2 years away from having those conversations, and it's not even a dent.
No, doesn't matter at all.
Doesn't matter at all.
No, the team top to bottom is out of control. Good.
No, like he'll talk about like Landon Knack, Ben Kasparius, Gavin Stone, Justin Robleski. Like you want to talk about floor, like that's your floor right there.
If you were to talk about their AAA rotation compared to the teams in S tier, there's a pretty good chance that their rotation in AAA might be better than every single of the ones in S.
I mean, River Ryan, the oldest prospect in the history of baseball. But right now, they're on Fangraphs, their projected AAA rotation for the Dodgers is River Ryan, Kyle Hurt, Justin Robleski, Gavin Stone, Landon Knack. I would tell you right now, I think that rotation could bring the Athletics to the playoffs.
There's a really good chance they could. And I'll tell you right now, the Rockies would win significantly more games with that rotation. White Sox might win 70.
Maybe, again, like they're, oh God, it's disgusting how good this Dodgers team is.
All right, that's enough of them. We don't really need to talk about them too much. Miami Marlins. Ass. It has to be ass.
I guess it's probably, I mean, I just think they play too good a ball to be ass.
But
I want to argue for 70.
I'll let you argue for 70 first, and I'll tell you exactly why I think ass.
I mean, my argument for 70 is that I have supreme confidence at the top of the rotation in Sandy and Yuri. I know the rest of the rotation, it could be a work in progress. That's where we're talking about floor right now to get themselves there. And the bullpen, I think, is if you put this bullpen ass, this would be so far and away the best bullpen in that tier. It's not even funny. And you win games on the margins with bullpen pitching and defense. And I do think this team is too good in both of those categories to lose that many games on the margins to go from 70 wins to ass.
Here's the reason I'm voting for ass. You talk about that top of the rotation. Sandy's probably not on the team for half the year. There's a good chance. I think if Sandy comes out and balls out in April, they might consider trading him in May, like on May 1st. Like, let's cash in on that value right now, get him to an organization before he has the chance to get hurt or pitch poorly again. That's my biggest concern, is that I think they could trade off some of the movable assets. There's not a ton, but they tend to be their best players. And I am a little bit concerned that, like, I think Kyle Stowers is very good. I think the stuff's sticky. He just might not be like 140 WRC plus. And if he's not, that lineup really has no punch.
The line barely had punch last year. Like
Exactly.
They were still like he missed the last 6 weeks of the year and they still played above 500 ball. Like
Fair.
That's something to consider too. And I guess the floor that was with Jacob Marcy like doing his best Ken Griffey Jr. impersonation, but still like they're just this team has a little bit more might. Like you're gonna tell me this team is that much different than the Guardians right now?
Oh, no, not at all. And that's why I'll give you 70 wins, but like I want it to be known that's a hard 70. They're not 71, not 72. It's 70.
I'll give them 72.
Okay, that's fine.
That's that one.
That's a win for me. I'll take that. Milwaukee Brewers. This is a conversation now, because we have a blind belief that they're just gonna figure it out pitching wise, and they have so much pitching depth. But there's also a world that almost none of those pitchers are good, right?
They don't have as much pitching depth anymore. There's significantly less pitching depth now than there was before they traded Tobias Myers and Freddie Peralta to the Mets. Like Spro, I mean, we're starting right with SP6.
Yeah.
I mean, also Spro, Gosser, and they did actually just replace all the pitching depth with Kyle Harrison and Shane Drone.
Yeah.
So I think so they actually did replace all that pitching depth. And I just know from them, it's like they're the sexy Guardians. Like they will get good results out of the guys who wind up filling in. Like Carlos Rodriguez has been a fun prospect I've watched for years now, signed straight out of Mexico. Like he's had some decent results at some spots in the minor leagues. He has a good deep pitch mix. Like this, they're just going to find a way. The way that this floor could bottom out is the top of their rotation. It gets filled in by all of these guys. Like Woodruff might, I don't know. He was so good last year, and I trust him so much. It's hard for me to see this, but just his shoulder injury was really, really serious. His velocity was down in the low 90s last year. It used to be in the high 90s. Like, it could just not work.
He was still getting strikeouts, though, which was so weird.
Many.
So many strikeouts. I think I can't put them lower than wild card, though. Is that crazy?
I was going to say wild card or 500 because, I mean, there's another lineup where ceiling and the floor seem close together. The only concern is that they don't really have a third baseman right now, but I trust them to manufacture one in the aggregate. Same thing with the shortstop position. Like, whoever they put there will be good at defense, and maybe that's just what they value from that spot. Like, I think Frelick has a high floor. Yelich has a high floor.
Could Frelick just be that third baseman? He's played there before.
He's the only guy on the roster right now who played an inning of third base for them last year.
I mean, it could be him, right?
No, it won't be. I think he's too good defensively in the outfield to do that. Just because they have so many other infielders they can mix around with.
I will also say I'm a huge Brock Wilken guy, and he's getting ready to be called up at some point. So that could just be like, keep it warm for Brock Wilken. No, he's not a top 100 prospect. They also have Andrew Fisher, who I think is like going to start in Double-A after being drafted last year. They have some good minor league depth that would have to come up. I do just blindly believe that like they're going to play good baseball. Like Pat Murphy's going to get them right, and they're going to be hovering right around the wild card at worst.
Well, I know for a fact, I think we're going to probably see Wilken and Jet Williams this year.
Yeah.
Like that's just they made that trade with the Red Sox, sending out Durbin and Monasterio and Siegler just to clear for the next runway of 40-man roster guys. Like that's just what teams like the Brewers do.
There's a chance that Joey Ortiz just goes to third and they put Jet Williams at short.
It's possible. Cooper Pratt also could get. I mean, he's much younger. He's behind these guys, but like he could get a look if he actually shows he's that good. Like Wilkin and Jet this year, they'll be the Monasterio and Durbin possibly.
Yeah, and could be better.
It could be better. Like that's just what Garrett Mitchell will just beat Isaac Collins this year. Like they're just going to keep doing that. Tyler Black gets another chance. Akil Baddoo has shown moments of intrigue. Like they will just devil magic their way into this. You just can't really put them lower than this because you know they'll find a way.
Yeah, I feel good about wild card there. Minnesota Twins. We're gonna drag them right to ass, right?
Right to ass. Everything that's fun about their ceiling is terrifying about their floor.
Especially because again, if they start slow even for a second, which they probably will. Pablo Lopez has to be traded this year if they're going to be bad. Joe Ryan has to be traded this year if they're going to be bad. And then if you don't have those guys,
now it's bad.
Now it's really bad because that lineup is stinky bad.
I do wonder, when Buxton gets hurt, could you see
when Buxton gets hurt is crazy.
What do you mean? Emmanuel Rodriguez will be right there. That'll be at least fun to watch. But another year of Wallner, Larnack. I still do like Wallner and Larnack objectively, but. With Trevor Larnack turning 30 is a good key to us.
How 28?
That's a good key to us. How old we're getting. How long? How long have been really watching these guys? But if Victor Caratini is a DH on opening day, James Outman, Austin Martin, Brooks Lee, these are not interesting or intriguing baseball players.
They have a lot of guys whose floor is no longer playing Major League Baseball.
Yeah, too many to have your floor be above ass.
Let's talk about the Mets. Let's get our Mets bias out of the way. I'll tell you this. I do think that there is a world where they're a 500 team.
100,000%.
But I won't put them any lower than that. But I will put them in the 500. We kind of saw it last year. And now having Francisco Lindor injury, the doom and gloom does creep into my head a little bit. It's the if anybody's watched Big Mouth, what is it, the depression cat that sneaks up on you? You gotta keep it away. That's what I'm trying to do right now is keep the depression cat away.
I mean, again, not Mets bias here. Definitely not. No Mets bias whatsoever. But they did really meaningfully raise their floor with just getting a guy like Freddie Peralta.
Totally. This is
a magnificent way.
This is all speaking about Francisco Lindor injury. That's what it is. Is what if the same thing happens next year and Francisco Lindor doesn't hit 30 home runs?
I'm covering the Mets poster behind my head. But the floor for this Mets team bottoms out to me with the bullpen.
The bullpen's bad.
I think the floor of their lineup is remarkably high.
Their lineup was good last year.
Taking Francisco Lindor out. Let's say he doesn't play for the first 2 weeks of the season. He's not even 100% until Memorial Day. I think this is probably still the 7th best lineup in baseball without him. Okay. I think with him, they're the 2nd or 3rd best lineup in baseball. I'm gonna go onto that soapbox right now. The rotation too is it's Freddie Peralta, Nolan McLean. A lot of junk behind it, but there's enough junk where you can stand up to a lot of missing pieces of the junk. If you lose Freddie or Nolan, it gets bad. The bullpen could get ugly really quickly.
Very quickly. It could be like Riotville at Citi Field if we see especially because it's former Yankees, those guys just blowing it. People will lose their fucking mind.
Yeah, Devin Williams and Luke Weaver being the setup and closers coming over from the Yankees. The only players who did not return to the Yankees after last year, which is kind of, even including their bench, which is crazy. But Brooks Raley, 38 years old, maybe it just doesn't work again. Luis Garcia's 39 years old. Huascar Brasman's 36 years old. These are old men.
We saw AJ Minter go down with what seemed like a meaningless injury when it first happened last year. Didn't pitch again.
Months.
Yeah, gone.
He's still not back until May.
Who knows whatever happens with him?
He's out for 13 months. It's hard to really rely on him. There's a world where this Mets bullpen could be one of the bottom 5 bullpens in the league, and that's where I'm seeing their floor. But even with that, the floor of the rotation is the 20th best rotation. I think the floor of their lineup is the 10th best lineup.
Who would that be?
The 10th best lineup, the 20th best rotation, one of the worst bullpens.
I mean, I guess they do just go in wild card because last year that was their floor. They just missed out on the wild card.
Exactly. I think that was 84 wins. That was the worst they ever played with a worse roster.
It's our video. We could put them in wild card.
And also, the team we just described, 10th best lineup, 20th best rotation, one of the worst bullpens. That's kind of the A's, and we put their ceiling in wild card.
Yeah, that's true.
It's kind of just the Athletics right there.
It's just the Mets are the New York Athletics.
The Mets floor is the Athletic ceiling, which I think is where we should be as the Mets.
New York Yankees. It's probably division, right? Or playoff run?
It's a remarkably high floor. I also think that the news that's trickling out about the rest of their division, I think they're way better than the other teams now.
You think they're way better, especially on the floor side. Let's talk through their floor, right? Offensively, lineup's great. We know that. The lineup's fantastic. Again, all the problems that I have with the Yankees and their ceiling stuff, again, comes down to the mental side of things and the fact that they can't get over the slightest bit of just adversity ever in the postseason. But I mean, got to be one of the highest floors in baseball, right?
I think undoubtedly one of the highest floors in baseball. Their floor is ridiculous. Like, the only concern with their floor is if the pitching injuries don't heal well.
Yes.
Like, their floor is just, it's like if Cole has a setback and Rodon has a setback, and that's it. But even if that happens, like, you still have Fried. And if Fried could just get you through the 162, like, you're probably winning your division. And if you get through the 162, you win your division. I'd probably still give them a round in the playoffs.
Yeah, I can give them
A fake
in the
wild card
playoffs.
round, probably more so.
Yes, so I guess playoff run is a good spot to put them. Even though last year it really, they didn't win the division and they won the wild card round, so maybe it is
Which
just
is
division. But
yes, but I think that, I mean, we're going to get to them by the end of this. I'm excited to have some Blue Jays talk. But the Yankees team is just, I know it's the exact same team they brought back. This team had the best lineup in baseball, one of the best rotations, and a really good bullpen. And their bullpen, I think Bednar is probably him and Devin Williams. You can get me on a different day. I'll give you a different answer to that question. But like, they just have so many dudes. Like, Jazz Chisholm's gonna hit like 5th or 6th.
love Jazz.
Like, Jason Dominguez, whatever you want to say about him, he's probably still like at least a league average player. And he's gonna be in the minor leagues. So like they can withstand so many things with this lineup. This might be a better lineup than the Dodgers.
Ooh, I don't know.
It
about
might
that.
be.
I don't know about
might
that.
be. I said might.
You did say might. I will argue that very hard, but that's not the point of this video. We're talking floor and if the Yankees don't have a playoff run, everyone's got to get fired. They have to. At what point is it not? Is it you're not the Yankees anymore? You don't win shit.
This team's just so good. But again, like, there's something happens to them every single September, October, and you can't really explain it. But like their floor is immensely high.
What did Aaron Boone say
That's the
when
wrong
he was
word.
they're gangsters in the box? What did he say?
No, savages.
Savages. We're savages in the box, and smacking the ceiling, and it's right in front of us. We just got to grab it. And he smacks the table every single time. I am so not an Aaron Boone guy, as you guys can tell. But yeah, playoff run. All right.
Like, even if like Volpe doesn't play a game this year, like, Caballero played a great shortstop for them.
I might raise their floor.
But truthfully, yeah.
Phillies.
Want to talk?
Wild card, right?
I think it'd be a 500 floor.
Really? Here's why I'll say no. I don't think that man, like, Bryce Harper is good. Kyle Schwarber's so good. Trey Turner's so good. And I know that's a similar conversation in terms of bats as the Diamondbacks, right? Like 3 elite bats. Similar-ish positions.
I would say the Diamondbacks 3, I would take over that Phillies 3. Is that insane?
I think that's a crazy take because I still I take Trey Turner over Geraldo Perdomo.
You got to turn injuries off for me to say that.
Yeah, Kyle Schwarber is a weird comp because he's a DH, but offensively he's probably the best of all the players in this.
Yeah, I mean,
and Bryce Harper is Corbin Carroll offensively, just not like stealing bases and base running, but like power production, which sounds crazy. Talk about 2 different guys.
Yeah, I guess it was crazy. I take that back. I'll still take these Phillies 3. But
yeah,
I mean,
talk to me why they're 500 and not wild card.
I think they could be 500, not wild card, simply because this rotation is kind of on stilts.
Okay.
Like, we had the great news of Zach Wheeler hanging out with his rib in a jar at spring training, which is sick. That's a big time dude's rock moment. But I just really don't know if/when how he comes back. And like, we're talking about the floor video. We saw Aaron Nola's floor last year. Usually in the even years, he pulls it together. So we're gonna bank on that. Jesus Luzardo last year looked like a Cy Young caliber pitcher, but also he whenever this happens, he's broken in the past. I never wanted to rely on that or believe that, but similar to when we talked about Hunter Green, it's just like it's in his past more than most other guys' pasts. Christopher Sanchez, I think, is a rock. Like,
I don't think he's going to be bad at all.
I think he's supremely one of the 10 best pitchers in baseball. He's going to hold the whole thing up on his shoulders if he has to, but there's a chance he does have to. And if he has to, they're going to kind of be fighting for their lives.
Yeah, I mean, it's not talk about depth. Got kind of none of it. Like, that's another team that can't really afford for anything to go wrong. I know Aiden Miller and Justin Crawford and Andrew Painter are waiting in the wings, but like, that's also putting a lot of pressure on these prospects right now who they're trying to get rid of Alec Boehm. He stinks.
I was gonna say two of those 3 guys that you said are waiting in the wings might be in the opening day roster.
Aiden Miller and Justin Crawford.
Yeah. No, I think Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford. I think we see Aiden Miller May 1st probably. I mean,
Andrew Painter was so bad last year though. That's the weird thing.
He was, but like, you almost have to just wash that first year Tommy John away.
Fair.
Like, kind of like Shane Baz 2 years ago. Like, that's kind of how I'm looking at Andrew Painter right now. It's just like,
I do still think the wild card. Like,
I'll give that to you. These are your Phillies. You do love the Phillies.
I think it would be If they win 500, I legitimately think like the Phillies fans might run on the field and start riots.
I just like Bohm, Marsh,
They'll
Adelise
kill Rob
Garcia,
Thompson.
Bryson Stott, JT Realmuto, and Justin Crawford. I just named you 6 hitters in their lineup. Who has the highest OPS in that 6, and what is the number?
Whew. It's gonna start with a 7, and the next number is probably 1.
Like it might be like the Bryson Stott and Mundo Sosa platoon at second base might produce the best offensive numbers from any of this 6. Like they really just telegraphed how badly they didn't want like Bohm on this roster this offseason.
Can you blame them?
And now he might hit cleanup on opening day. It's like how are those the 2 options here? Like I think Aiden Miller is also a piece, but like I don't think he comes up and is the kind of prospect that lights the world on fire. He to me comes up as a good ball player and grows into a guy that becomes a stud.
Austin Riley-ish.
He's so patient in the minor leagues. And I always get terrified of that uber patience where it's like if the pitchers in the major leagues aren't scared of the damage you can create, and in the minors you got by of that being a little bit more scared and being able to identify the worst breaking balls, they just fill the zone against you, and then it's up to you to change your approach. And he probably can't do it. He's a sick ball player, but like he probably comes up as more of a guy that like fills in a gap than like pushes you to a next level.
Yeah. Just wanted to be known. James did have them in 500, but
Just had to be.
I think it has to be in wild card though. Realistically, all right. My Pittsburgh Pirates. I need to get my Pirates hat on for this one. Unfortunately for them, it's just ass.
It probably is. I mean, it might be a little better than ass.
They could be 70 win, but again, I do feel like we're relying on still not complete floor because like
kind of, but their rotation, I think, will not allow them to be ass no matter what.
Okay. Well, then convince me that convince me more for 70 wins because where I do get worried more is their lineup. Like,
I mean, they could have one of the worst 5 lineups in the league still after all these additions. But I think they're no matter what, their rotation has just enough bodies and enough immense talent on top to not be ass.
So we're putting them in 70.
I'd put them in 70. I just think that again, like you can never assume anything going wrong health-wise besides the guys we're talking about who've had a lot of it in their past. So if you just don't assume that for the guys that haven't, and the Pirates had it in their past, it's like, all right. Like, unless we're pulling injuries out of thin air, there's no reason this team will be ass. But they could easily be 70 wins.
They do feel like, again, at worst, they are still a clear rung ahead of the White Sox, the Rockies.
Absolutely. The Diamondbacks just sitting there. That's gonna. But like those teams on ass are nowhere close to the floor of skill and the floor of innings that this Pirates team will have.
And Connor Griffin, I guess if he plays, if the Pirates for some reason just hold him in AAA.
Yeah, that's the one problem here. I guess if they hold him until the middle of August, but he's so fucking good.
So good. San Diego Padres. Oh, Padres fans hate our guts because we talk about this team in such a way that nobody else in the baseball world seems to be talking about them, where there's a world where this team doesn't even come close to making the playoffs.
They are the exact same concept right between the Phillies and the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, which is the Braves.
Yeah, right, basically. Yeah, but it's the big 3 more so, and the Braves still have a good lineup depth-wise. This Padres line probably is better depth-wise, may give it credit for, but like Bogarts, you got to squint to see a plus hitter there. He probably still is just league average at the floor.
Yep.
Sheets is a league average guy at the floor with the platoon advantage split. Ramon Laureano, again, similar league average guy with the floor. Cronenworth, Andujar. Like, it's just a lot of guys besides the big 3 who are just probably, at worst case scenario, fine.
And the reason for this whole conversation of what we talk about with the Padres that gets people mad, that rotation is maybe the scariest rotation that any team could have to deal with in baseball, especially for a team that is competing for the playoffs. The fact that you're relying so heavily on Joe Musgrove, who hasn't thrown a pitch in a year and has had trouble with injuries and staying healthy, along with the fact that Michael King did not look as sharp as he had in the past dealing with his injuries. And then your 4-5 right now, today, at the time of recording, are Randy Vasquez and JP Sears. Like, what? That rotation could be really bad. Nick Pivetta, I think, is going to be great. I really don't think that he's going to suck. But, like, his floor is like a low 4 ERA guy, right?
Yeah, for sure. I'm confident in Musgrove. Like, we're 18 months out from the surgery because he got it before the postseason 2024. It's been a long, good recovery process. We guess the first time he pitches spring training will be a big deal, but just there's going to be a lot of reliance on Kyle Hart, Matt Waldron, and probably like Tristan McKenzie this season for that team. And those are 3 guys who have never really been able to show sustained major league success in any capacity.
No, and that's what terrifies me about the Padres, and that's why I think they could be like a 78 win team. Again, I don't think they're closer to that 70 win, but I do think that they could be below 500 just because 2 days a week you're going to have guys that are like, your pitcher's definitely going to be better than these.
But similarly to how I've argued for some of these other teams to move up a tier slightly, like their bullpen will allow them to win games they don't deserve to win.
Yes.
And that probably no matter what just hovers them around 500.
Can I float you the idea of the sale and the wanting to save money?
Yes, that was, yeah. If they do dump a bunch of these guys, like not even like the big guys, but like if Mason Miller, Adrian Marjon, and Jeremiah Estrada are not in this team, and even two of those guys not in this team, it changes a lot. But then like Bradley Rodriguez just becomes
Throws 103, yeah.
yeah, he becomes one of those guys again. Like they have 4 relievers, probably like David Morgan's nasty too. Like they got 5 relievers better than some teams' top reliever.
I'll put them in 500. That's they realistically, are they going to win less than 80 games? Probably not. They get to play the Rockies 13 times.
and the Diamondbacks, who were ass.
Yeah. Braves fans are going to hate our guts.
That's fine. I mean, the Braves fans saw it last year. I think the Braves fans, after seeing last year, kind of realized a little bit how big of a gradient their team has.
They did get a little quiet, so I'd like to get them down there.
I made a joke on Twitter about Bryce Elder taking Spencer Schwellenbach's rotation spot, and usually when you do that, I get hate from the Braves fans.
Yeah.
But this time they were like, dude, like this sucks. Like we know.
Like thanks, man.
Last year really hit them hard.
San Francisco Giants.
This is a weird one.
They could go an ass, right?
I mean,
but they are probably.
I was actually going to argue the dead opposite.
I was gonna say also they're probably 70.
Like their ceiling is their floor. The ceiling is the roof, like Michael Jordan said. Like
500.
They're going to have like every single day in the lineup like 4 legit strong major leaguers, and then they have one of the most reliable, consistent pitchers in baseball at the top of their rotation.
Now that is one pitcher that you
one
mentioned.
pitcher.
What about the other 4?
Other 4, it's gonna be a journey. It's gonna be a travel.
That's where I'm pushing you to 70 wins on them.
All right, we'll do 70 wins on them. That's fair.
I'll be honest, like it might be hard in that division to get to 81 wins for them. They would have to play really good baseball.
They seem like the most rock solid 81 win baseball team I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, middle outcome 81, positive outcome 85, bad outcome 76.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what this is about. 76 wins for them.
Yeah, because I mean that bullpen also talk about bad bullpens. That bullpen's really bad, and their rotation after Logan Webb could be catastrophically bad. So
it definitely could be.
There's a world where Harrison Bader doesn't swing the bat hard again because I don't know. Buster Posey wants him to hit for average. Like
I mean, he might be able to do both. Who knows?
Luis Ariz is playing second base. The floor for him is being cut.
The floor for him is one of the worst defensive seasons in the history of baseball.
So yeah, I think 70 wins. Seattle Mariners. I love the addition of Brendan Donovan, and I think it puts them at division.
Floor raiser.
Yeah, I think that puts them at division. I don't know if I can buy playoff run just because, again, the fragility of their starting rotation right now because of the injury to the depth guys. But I do still see them, like at the worst, being the best team in that division.
I also am excited for how they manufacture rotation depth just because I trust them to do so. Like, we're going to get some wild Randy Dobnak, Dane Dunning appearances. Those guys born the same month, which is kind of funny. Looking at their roster resource right now, they're both 31 years and 1/10 of a year old, which is hilarious. But, like, I just know they're going to find a way, even though when I think about the floor of this team, it's scary after five pitchers.
So,
like, I give them benefit of the doubt.
Are you fighting for playoff run or are you going division?
I was going to fight for playoff run.
I'm really trying to think about this. Like, again, Brendan Donovan's great. Julio's going to be great.
Just up and down, this is one of the strongest teams in the league.
Yeah, I can buy that. I can get behind it. Let's go with playoff run. Like, again, what a nightmare of a season if they can't win one series in the playoffs.
And just like if Brendan Donovan gets on base like a 350 clip on top, and then it's like, here's Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez, Josh Naylor, and Randy Rosarena. Like that first inning, you're a pitcher. Just like, what the fuck just happened? Like,
and we talk about the world where hit Julio behind guys that get on base, he might stop chasing. He might get more strikes. That'd be huge for him.
I guess part of the floor conversation does come, though, from Cal Raleigh just being really good and not like an MVP.
Yeah.
Maybe that puts him down a little bit because we are giving Cal Raleigh the big benefit of the doubt, like he deserves after what he did last year. But like, I'm sure he's never hitting 60 homers again.
You know what? I'd bet he doesn't.
I feel like he probably just reverts back to like
40.
Yeah, 35, 40, 235 average. Like keep that instead of like he had 360 on base last year. Projections have him like a 330. That's probably that makes it more reasonable. That maybe puts him back down to division.
We need to fill up the division tier.
Yeah, I don't know anyone else going into it. So
yeah, no, out of these, I definitely don't see one. St. Louis Cardinals are definitely not. We'll just drop them into ass. There's a world where they are the worst team in baseball. I think next year,
possibly. I mean, maybe their pitching could be cataclysmically bad. Their bullpen's like too good to be the worst team in baseball, though.
But they're going to trade them. Hopefully.
Probably.
Yeah.
Even if you have 3 months of those guys, you can't be the worst team in baseball.
I guess that is true. But okay, still ass regardless. We don't need to talk too much about them.
Ass.
Tampa Bay Rays. ass, right?
Probably, but like this is like, will the Rays Devil Magic let them be ass?
It probably can't. The Rays Devil Magic, in the worst case scenario, is they probably win 70 games.
That's what I'm saying. They're still there. Like I think Pepio will be like something close to a true one back in the Trop. But Clanahan's full go. Kevin Cash said he's normal. No
That's
restrictions.
huge. Okay, that changes a lot.
He's pitching, he's throwing, like everything's fine. Rasmussen too. They did miracles to keep him healthy last year. The lineup could be mega ass, but like this is now back to the old Rays. And
Yeah.
the old Rays. The worst case scenario is like 73 wins.
Yeah, that is true. The Kevin Cash old Rays.
An unbelievable bullpen. Like this is just it.
All right, 70 wins. I'm cool with that. Texas Rangers.
Weird one.
Probably 70 wins, right? I think
Yeah,
so.
I mean-
I can't put them in ass, and I don't feel good at 500 for worst case scenario because we saw it last year. Like we saw them go.
It wasn't the worst case scenario.
Well, that's what I say. We saw them go 500, and Jacob deGrom was fully healthy.
It was the worst case scenario for their lineup, though. Their lineup, I can't imagine their lineup is worse than it was last year.
Yes and no.
Why no?
No, because I mean Corey Seager does just miss games. That hurts.
Yeah.
Jake Berger, I think, might stink. There is
possible.
totally a world where like it's just a black hole at that position. Second base, Josh Smith playing every day.
I mean, talk about a floor raiser though. Josh Smith will just grind.
But like over a full season, is he actually? Do you want him being your everyday guy? Third base, Josh Young's looked horrible. Evan Carter injury stuff. Wyatt Langford, I think, is great, and I do think Brandon Nimmo has a high floor. But they also like Jonah Heim's been terrible. Their bullpen stinks.
Jonah Heim, I think, is on. He got picked up the other day by somebody, the Braves.
Who's their
Jonah Heim.
catcher?
Danny Jansen.
He could stink.
Yeah, sure.
Definitely
I mean,
could.
The way this team's floor, the bottom falls out, is again the rotation, where you got immaculate health last year from Jacob deGrom and Nathan Eovaldi. If you just don't get that, if you just get 20% worse health from each, it's like, oh, now you have to fill an extra 60 innings from Kumar Rocker, whose floor might be horrible. Like who the depth pieces here? We talked about them last video. I'm gonna refresh my memory. real quick.
they're not good. Jack Leiter will be in there,
here it is.
obviously.
It's Gomber and Quantrill.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Nabil Krismat.
I am high on Austin Gomber this year. Big year from Gomber.
But again, like that trio of depth starters as like your, kind of 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, 9 starting pitchers, it could get really ugly really quickly for the Texas Rangers with one of the worst bullpens in baseball as well.
It's also, we know that there's some weird stuff going in that clubhouse. That's why they shipped out Marcus Semien. That team's got no good vibes, it seems like, going on.
They also played last year like a team that had a bad clubhouse. You could feel it.
So I think 70 wins is fair. Toronto Blue Jays, James, you said you're excited to talk about them. Let's talk.
I think this team's floor has gotten significantly lower in the last like 7 or 8 days.
Finding out Shane Bieber might be cooked is not good.
Really not good. And then also just like you're going to argue the opposite of this, but just not even having the opportunity to give Anthony Santander a chance to add thump to this lineup that might really need some thump hurts. Like I
don't know. Is Anthony Santander more or less valuable being hurt? Because you can make the argument last year him playing hurt the Blue Jays.
Yeah, possible. But it felt like he just couldn't be that bad again. Like there's no way he was going to be that bad again. So it's like, all right, we got to do that now. But they don't really have a lot of meaningful position player depth. Like RJ Schreck is a fun ball player, but like he doesn't add thump. Like Loperfido, I guess, could add thump and he'll be going up and down. But like I feel like we kind of know what he is at this point. Like, I mean, Jonathan Clase maybe is like the David Popkin school of bat speed can save him. Yohendrick Pinango, like Blue Jays Twitter loves him, but like they left him unprotected. They left him unprotected in the Rule 5 draft for a reason. The guy just doesn't have the contact to be a sustainable Major League Baseball player. And then their rotation, again, without Bieber, it looks a lot worse when you think about the depth. And without a guy like Bowden Francis, who, again, not a world beater by any means, but like you saw Bowden Francis being like SP6, SP7, so it's like that's nice there in a pinch. But right now, like Cody Ponce and Jose Barrios are opening day back-end rotation guys. Behind them, there's not really much at all.
I think
Lauer.
I think what's like a horrible conversation to have about this Blue Jays team is just the fact of regression, because it does feel like everybody took a just unreal step forward offensively last season. Like George Springer being one of the most productive hitters in baseball. Crazy. Absolutely insane that happened. Nobody saw that coming. Even if he falls off 10%, that does affect this team's floor. If you look at, Vlad's going to be awesome. Like I have no doubt in Vlad whatsoever. Andres Jimenez, what if Andres Jimenez can't actually play shortstop, along with the fact that his best case scenario is being like 20% worse than league average hitting now? Like, there are some things that are scary. Dalton Varsho gets hurt all the time. If he gets hurt again, there's a gap there. Like, you're going to be playing Miles Straw. You're going to be playing Nathaniel Lucas like every day again.
Yeah, you will be.
And while I think I'm still probably putting them in wild card because again vibes and just the fact that they were so good, I don't see them being Orioles like. If they didn't come within and at like 2 outs of winning the World Series last year, I could buy the 500. But just the fact that like they did play such good baseball, they play great defense. That to me is such a floor raiser of a wild card team.
It definitely is. I also misspoke on Pinango. His swing and miss is not the issue. I think I got confused with Elvis from back in the day. But
yeah, Yohendrick Pinango is like,
yeah,
put the ball in play and hope you get on base.
It's just this entire middle class of this Blue Jays lineup. Like you could see the floor outcome for all of these players really, really drastically hurting what this team's lineup could produce over a season. Like Barger, Kirk, Varsho, Okamoto. Like
they've fluctuated. All of them have.
That's what I'm saying. Like those are guys that have big fluctuations. Like I could see nice ceilings. I see good 50th percentile outcomes. But we're talking about floors right now, and the floor right there is that Kirk is back to a league average bat. Varsho strikes out 35% of the time. Again, you can't get to the contact. Okamoto just can't acclimate, which, again, I don't think any of these things will necessarily come true, but I think all of them are possible. And, like, the depth of, I mean, we like Leo Jimenez, David Schneider, you mentioned Miles Straw, and then the rotation, like, the top of it probably keeps them whole. Like, Cease and Gosman are just, we'll be there every fifth day when you need us. There's a floor conversation about Trey Savage that a lot of Blue Jays fans can't hear right now.
Yeah, and that's fine. We'll talk about it if it happens.
Again, like, but he's the guy made like the World Series was incredible. It's been like 50 innings as a professional. Like we'll see if there's an adjustment. Like the videos of him throwing you sent me today are like
insane. It looks so.
It's a cricket.
As a hitter, I've never seen anything that looks like that.
Also, it's interesting that John Schneider is his name, right?
John, yeah,
John Schneider. The same name of the Seahawks GM. That's crazy.
I think Seahawks owner. No.
GM. Didn't we just have this conversation at the Super Bowl?
But I don't know if you were right.
Well, let's check. Double check me.
All right, you keep talking. I'll look.
They didn't commit to Hoffman as the closer either. I think this bullpen has good depth, so I think but I think it's interesting that to get a word like that, which I guess makes sense. The guy blew the World Series, but like
president of football operations.
There we go. President of football operations makes the personnel decisions. Like Louis Varland might just be the closer in this team. Also, Yimi will be back. Like the depth of this team falls apart kind of quickly, but maybe we just have to believe there's more because of how much was created last year in a short window.
Yeah, and I do think that they are still just competing for a playoff spot in a worst case scenario because of those guys on the team.
Totally fair.
Nationals, quick, easy,
ass. Their ceiling's the worst team of all time.
Yeah, because their floor. They might just trade C.J. Abrams at any moment. And then
C.J. Abrams, even if he plays for them, might still be like a 2.5 win player. He can't play shortstop defense.
Yeah, so like imagine a world where they don't have C.J. Abrams and James Wood is your only good hitter. Like, who do they beat?
Well, Dalen Lyle.
Dalen Lyle's floor is low.
Oh, for sure. We still both like Dylan Cruz as well. Luis Garcia Jr. is going to play first base now because he was so asked at second. There's going to be days, and this is how they're aligned on roster resource right now, where Keibert Ruiz hit 6th.
And he is genuinely one of the worst players in Major League Baseball.
Keibert Ruiz, Brady House, Nasim Nunez, Jacob Young could be the bottom 4 hitters in the lineup every day.
Just don't let Nasim Nunez see Sean Manaea. He owns his ass.
And again, we did this in the ceiling video, but Kay Cavalli, Brad Lord, Jake Irvin, Josiah Gray, Foster Griffin.
That's if you're playing daily fantasy baseball, you could stream the hell out of whoever's facing the Nationals.
Can you name one reliever in their bullpen?
Yeah, Jackson Rutledge.
Yep.
Clayton Beater.
Right. Yeah, Clayton Beater is probably the closer.
George Soriano.
I don't think he's in the bullpen anymore. I think he's on a different team now.
Dang. Okay, one more. Let me try and get one more out there. Is Andy Lara on the Nationals?
He's not listed right now as a projected opening day bullpen.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that team stinks.
Now, P.J. Poulin, Cole Henry, Dickie Lovelady, Gus Varland. Come on,
Dickie Lovelady.
Griff McGarry. This is the world. There's world beaters here.
Yeah, those are pitchers. Those are pitchers. And this is our floor tier list. Let us know what you guys think down in the comment section. Can't wait to see this. Just an hour of spew and hate on every team in Major League Baseball. You don't get content like this anywhere else on the internet, so make sure you subscribe to the Windup so you don't miss out on it. You can follow James on social media at
James Shiano.
I'm Giraffe Neck Mark. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.